Unlike in his first term, Donald Trump's cabinet in his second term has been a model of stability. It's been an entire year, and he hasn't fired a single cabinet member. Wow. I mean, with that level of consistency, you got to imagine that the first one to finally get canned would have to be a real embarrassment, an absolute disappointment. Just a totally incompetent, unprofessional, dipshitty.
Breaking news into CNN. Kristi Noem is out as the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security.
Yes! Yes! And now that she's gone, the Trump administration is going to be great. Wait, I tricked you. But that's right, you heard Trump, Kristi. Time to turn in your badge and your cowboy hat and your bigger cowboy hat and your flak jacket and your night vision goggles and your firefighter costume. Oh, and also your camel. What was your job again? Now, this firing comes right after she was called into Congress for a hearing about her many controversies. There was the handling of ICE in Minnesota, accusations of corruption. There's also rumors she's been having an affair with her also married special advisor, Corey Lewandowski, on a private jet with a bedroom in the back. But I mean, I'm sure members of Congress, they're not going to go there.
Could you explain this?
Sir, I'm looking at a picture of an interior, looks like a bedroom.
Of an airplane?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
God damn. Can you imagine being confronted about your affair with a picture of the actual bed that's so big the cameraman had to zoom out? But don't play coy with us, U.S. Congress. If you've got a question to ask Kristi Noem, just ask it.
So, Secretary Noem, have you had sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski?
Holy shit. Finally, one of these hearings is going to get interesting, you know? Normally it's just blah, 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 human rights violations, blah, 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 concentration camps, blah, blah, blah. This is probably the first time Kristi Noem wanted to be like, lo siento, no hablo inglés. But hey, here's your chance to put this whole Corey Lewandowski rumor to bed. Bad choice of words. Either way, Kristi, set these people straight.
I am shocked that we're going down and peddling tabloid garbage in this committee today in the federal government.
So, reclaiming my
an
time,
advisor,
Secretary, it is okay for you to be offended by the question. It is okay for you to be offended by the question. But it is also a real question.
So what I would say
and
to
you should be able to answer the question.
What we do at the Department of Homeland Security every single
and without
day,
any hesitation.
every single day.
Hey, let Kristi Noem finish. At least that's my advice to Corey Lewandowski. And by the way, I should point out that of all the words Noem said in there, none of them were an actual denial. Reminds me of the move I pulled in high school. Michael, did you poop in the urinal? To even engage in such a question in a place of education, no less. Now, apparently, it wasn't even the affair that got her canned. If anything, the sex plane probably bought her a few weeks, you know? Trump was like, she's a huge embarrassment in every way, except for that flying palace. Game recognized game. And don't worry too much about Kristi. She's already got a new job that's every bit as important.
The current Secretary, Kristi Noem, will be moving to be special envoy for the Shield of the Americas, our new security initiative in the Western Hemisphere.
Ah, yes, yes. The special envoy for the Shield of the Americas Western Hemisphere division. You know it's a promotion when the job was just invented 6 minutes ago using refrigerator magnets. I can't wait to see what outfit she'll wear for that. But now that Noem's out at Homeland Security, who's replacing her? You know what? I don't care who it is, just as long as it's someone with one first name.
The president has named Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin to be the next DHS secretary.
God damn it! Now, obviously, Markwayne Mullin can't be senator and a cabinet secretary at the same time. So the way it works is Mark will serve as Oklahoma senator while Wayne will run DHS. Good luck to Mark Wayne, and congrats to Corey Lewandowski. He now gets to bang Mark Wayne Mullen on that plane. Hey, man, I come with the plane, and so do you. This is a hot sex crowd tonight, I'll tell you that much. Woo! All right. Yeah, sex. Let's move on to Robert F. Kennedy Jr., health secretary and piece of hard jerky you found under the seat of your car. He's in charge of the whole country's health. So let's hear the important things he's checking off his to-do list.
Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. wants to restrict sugary beverages from both Dunkin' and Starbucks.
Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks. Show us the safety data that show that it's okay for a teenage girl to drink an iced coffee with 115 grams of sugar in it.
Hold on. Now you're calling for data? When it's the mocha Dunkachino, you want to see the research. But when it comes to vaccines, you're like, I'm not really feeling these things. But in an effort to appease RFK, Dunkin' has already introduced a protein-forward health beverage that follows all of his MAHA guidelines. Introducing the Beefachino. Now that's grisly. Holy shit. Let's move on. To someone we hope is only starting their day with iced coffee, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. Fighting an illegal war against Iran is his job, but he's still a Fox News host at heart, and that's why he's announcing a new wartime initiative.
Changes are coming to Scouting America, formerly known as the Boy Scouts. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has criticized the Boy Scouts, calling recent changes, quote, woke culture.
DEI crept in. The focus on God as the ruler of the universe was watered down to include openness to humanism and earth-centered pagan religions. They even welcomed the destructive myth of gender fluidity and transgenderism to infiltrate their membership.
Well, look, I can see why conservative scout leaders were upset about that. Hey, we signed up to molest biological boys, not these trans weirdos. Also, why is it that every time I think I have a handle on what conservatives are mad about, they slip in something new? Earth-centered paganism? I don't even know what part I'm supposed to be angry about. Is that the paganism is centered on Earth instead of a different planet? But yeah, apparently the Secretary of Defense was upset enough that he threatened to end the military's 100-year history of providing support to the Scouts if they didn't get in line with his MAGA warrior ethos. And apparently, mission accomplished.
Scouting America has agreed to comply immediately with the provisions of Executive Order 14173. No more DEI 0. The, quote, Citizen in Society Merit Badge that encouraged Scouts to explore diversity, equity, inclusion, and identity. That badge has been discontinued.
I'm sorry. The Secretary of Defense is micromanaging which Boy Scout badges are to DEI? Is this why we don't have a plan for the war? I'll focus on the Middle East tomorrow. Right now, I'm busy figuring out how to make neckerchiefs look manly. For more on the Boy Scout changes and their possible impact, let's go live to Jordan Klepper. Jordan, my first question, obviously, is why the f*** are you dressed like that?
Okay, you know what? Don't sneer, Michael. This is because the Boy Scouts are manly again. And in honor of that masculinity, I broke out my old uniform, you know? Come on, Kosta, what's more alpha than this, huh?
You look like the boy from Up if you joined the Village People.
You're just jealous. You probably spent your summers in a band camp or fat camp or on a birthright trip to Fire Island.
Look, I'll have you know it was band camp, and yes, most of us were fat, but that's besides the point. So what are some of Hegseth's biggest changes with the Scouts?
Well, first off, the old merit badges were focused on helping those around you and being a good citizen, traits that we now know are Canadian. However, However, these new badges embody Pete Hegseth's idea of real American manliness, like the 3 times divorced badge or the talking your way out of a DUI badge and the let's all pull our genitals out and the first one to get hard is gay badge. Yeah. Fun fact, I already got that bad boy.
Wait, so you were the first one to get hard?
What? No! I was the last one to get hard. Finally, that skill paid off.
But Jordan, America just launched a war against Iran. Why is the Defense Department wasting time on the Boy Scouts when they should be focused on the war effort?
Because this is a part of the war effort. I mean, who do you think is going to be fighting that war in 10 years? These Scouts!
10 years? They said the war will be over in weeks.
Are you kidding me? With Pete Hegseth in charge? This guy's spending all his time on merit badges.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He's incompetent.
Don't you say that about Pete. He's a solid dude. He's a special envoy to my shield of besties.
Jordan, why are you defending Pete Hegseth so hard?
Because covering for your boys is how you earn Hegseth's new Bros Before Hoes badge. So, by the way, if his wife asks, he was with me last night. So, could you send someone to pick me up because I got lost in the woods and it's getting cold. Not a lot of layers.
Yep. You could always start a fire.
Yeah, and rub 2 sticks together. Gay!